Hello and good morning. It's Wednesday of week 18 and we're back with more news and entertainment.
Voting has opened this morning for all the FTO positions as well as several CCO and JCR positions. This morning we will be joined by Benjamin Harper, Lucy VP Education, to talk about the January exam referendum.
We will then be joined by Dr. Sandra Sunram-Lee and Kasima Willie to find out about the role of the Athena Swan at Lancaster University.
It's 11 o'clock and you're watching Good Morning Lancaster. Welcome back, I'm Zuri Hampapur.
And I'm Jack Hill. Thanks for joining us today. Let's bring you up to date with the latest news headlines.
Lusu have confirmed that the Lusu shop, which is located in Edward Roberts Court, will be closing in the near future. In a quote they say, "It will be closing in order to concentrate on creating one store that meets student needs as closely as possible," and that the date of closure will be confirmed in the next few weeks but is likely to be the end of summer term.
Today on the show, we are really excited to be joined by Dr. Sandra Sunram-Lee and Kasima Willie from the Athena Swan on campus. The Athena Swan is a charter established by the British Equality Challenge Unit in 2005 that recognises and celebrates good practice towards the advancement of gender equality, thus being representation, progression and success for all. The aim is to encourage commitment to advancing careers of women in science, technology, engineering and mathematics employment in higher education and research.
Campus Fest has been cancelled. The event, which has taken place in week 9 of Lent term since it began 6 years ago, has been called off this year due to the lack of attendance at the last Campus Festival, as well as a lack of funding. Chris Osborne, who started Campus Fest, recognises that there were issues with the event, however said the cancellation is a serious mistake for Lusu and a step backwards in their support of societies and the performing arts.
On the 4th of March, a team of students and staff from Lancaster University will be climbing the height of Everest at the University Sports Centre, climbing the wall in less than 24 hours. This is being done to raise money for Amnesty International to help protect human rights all over the world.
The campaign the Amnesty International Society are working on at the moment is called My Body, My Rights, which seeks to stop the control and criminalisation of sexuality and reproduction, with a focus on trying to decriminalise abortion in Ireland.
Lusu full-time officer elections are well underway. We are seeing some innovative and creative campaigning techniques being explored around campus. Voting for all positions are now underway and will close on Friday the 4th of March at 4 p.m.
Alice Catchier, a writer for The Tab, has written a controversial article this week titled "It's Time to Accept That BAs Are Much Harder Than BScs." Catchier goes on to say, "Just because you can balance equations doesn't mean you can write a sentence, hun," and that it's time to stop pretending that your BSc is harder and worth more than our BAs, because the reality is that you need us just as much as we need you. Let us know what you think by tweeting us at LA1TV, email us or message us on Facebook.
What do you think about it? Because, well, I read the article and I can there's big differences between doing a BSc and doing a BA.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like I do a BSc biology and we have a lot of coursework where we just hand in sheets,
mm-hmm.
or we have a lot of contact time. So I can completely understand the differences.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I felt that it became a bit of a moan rather than just stating the obvious.
Mm-hmm. Because I do a BA, so I'm not really sure how much it differs from BScs, but there is quite a stigma that BAs are easy and that BScs are a lot harder and they're the intellectual ones, they've got the more difficult course, which I don't agree with. I do feel that my course can be pretty challenging at times, so I guess it's good to get that message across there.
For me the difference and maybe the unfairness between it is that with a BSc, I get a lot of contact time out in a week. I've got practicals, I do a lot of lectures, Whereas with a BA, and I know we've talked about it
Yeah,
before,
we
you have a lot less contact
Yeah, we
time.
do, which isn't great. But we managed to still get our work done, and I do feel like the article is fair in the sense that it does show that BAs are hard as well, and they should cut us some slack, give us a bit of credit for the work that we do.
Yeah. Interesting article, just wish it wasn't as much of a moan.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us know what you think. We will shortly be joined by Benjamin Harper to talk about the referendum on January exams, but we'll have a quick look at the elections from Tom Stapleton.
LUSU is run mostly by full-time employed staff that work year on year. These are split into departments including finance, administration, housing and so on. There are a group of 6 staff, however, that are elected by the students that work there for the year. These staff are split into the roles of president and several vice presidents, education, welfare and community, campaigns and communications, union development and activities. Voting starts on Wednesday at 10 AM and runs until Friday at 4 PM, but you will need to re-register with Vegeram on Wednesday if you're voting on campus. To vote, you will receive an email that shows you how to do it online. The system used by LUSU and most other student elections is a single transferable vote. This is where you rank candidates, including RON, which stands for Reopen Nominations, or you can opt out of voting for that role completely. The system finds a winner by looking at who the voters put first, and if no one wins by a clear majority, then the candidate with the least number of votes in that round is eliminated, and who those voters put in second is used. This is repeated until there is a clear majority winner. You can find out more about the candidates by watching our 60-second manifesto videos that include a short host from Ron.
We are now joined by Benjamin Harper to discuss the referendum. Firstly, why is the referendum happening? Who proposed it?
I proposed it after I got elected this time last year. Obviously, we all know about the elections happening this year. And actually, it was an idea that was proposed by one of the other candidates, but he was so popular, I thought, well, it deserves the time to be ran, and I've given it a go. And it coincides with the university's work at the moment on January exams, so it's all really worked out quite well.
Yeah. Is there a time frame on it? When is it thinking of happening? If it goes ahead, will it affect like me next year studying?
Yeah, so the precise details around what the exams will look like haven't been finished yet. The idea of the student vote at the moment is to give the working group that the university's put together a real opportunity to think about what the students feel about this system. What I can tell you is that if they did get implemented, it wouldn't be until academic year 2017-18 at the earliest.
Okay.
So most of our graduates at the moment wouldn't experience the change.
Mm-hmm.
So its aim of what it's trying to achieve is just generally getting awareness across and hopefully to change the system at the moment?
Yeah, well, I mean, I am slightly in favour. I believe we should move to that, but that's not my message. My main message is just to think about how it would affect you and for everyone to go out and vote. Yeah, I mean, the timetables will change as a consequence of if January exams come in. The system won't look like what it looks like now, but unfortunately it's so hard for us to predict what that would actually look like that the main message I can give to anyone who's considering voting is, you know, would you like your exams all in one go, or would you like 2 sets spread across the year?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest message I'm trying to put across, really.
What are you expecting from people's opinions on it? Do you think it'll pass? What are you expecting?
It's quite interesting, actually. Normally we have a good idea of where these things are going to go. I mean, even with the BDS referendum that was quite controversial, we had an idea that it might not actually meet quality. With this referendum, we've sampled students for the last 2 years, and we always get a different result every time we go out and speak to students. So we've had samples up to 500, nearly up to 1,000, just by standing in the square. What do you think? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Every time it's different. So I'm really curious to see what it will be.
So you're not sure?
I think it will be a little bit in favour, but you know what? If I'm wrong now, I'm recorded saying that.
Would the system be like, going back to like to A level and sixth form? Would it be like that, having exams after the Christmas break and then another set of teaching?
Yeah, it's a really good point actually, and it's something that we've been thinking about. It would be just like how the A-level system is now, where you have your January exams, then you have your summer exams, and you go back to teaching after each set of exams. However, that in itself is a little bit contentious because I don't know if you know, the A-level system is currently changing,
It is,
so that all the exams will be at the end of the second year. So whilst this system we're moving to now might be favoured by our current undergraduates because of their experiences of A-level,
Yeah.
that might not be the case in 3 or 4 years' time when the A-level system's changed, and then our graduates might be saying, hold on, I prefer all my exams at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So we're in a bit of a precarious position here with this one. But we're in the minority having the system we currently have. Most universities across the country have two exam periods.
Right. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know me personally, I'd like them spread out. I think
would.
I'd feel so much pressure if all my exams were just in one, like, block of time.
That's what I'm worried about this year. I know when I was doing sixth form, I was really happy that we had the January exams, and then you can kind of think if you don't do that well, you've got the summer, and then the workload at summer is a lot less. So at uni, when I'm doing them all at the end of the year, I'd be in favour of the January exams.
A lot of people say that they think that the current exam system is about testing your memory and how you just revise for exams.
Completely,
And
agree.
I think the way we do it now reinforces that even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay,
Moving on from elections, talk about the. Do you know anybody that's running? What do you think of the current elections?
I do know quite a few people who are running. Actually, one of the candidates who's currently running was my housemate in first year. That's Rachel Hughes. Unfortunately, last year Lucy passed policy, which means I can't actually endorse any candidate publicly. So
Of course.
I don't know whether you were trying to catch me out there, but I
names,
was close.
So how is Lucy hoping that the turnout is going to be? Because obviously there is actually a very little percentage of students that actually vote.
Yeah.
So are they hoping that increases this year?
Yeah, well, hopefully there'll be an effect whereby, if the January exams referendum gets enough attention and the FTO elections get enough attention, both of them together might actually end up sharing the vote, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So people coming to vote for the exams might actually vote for the candidates and vice versa. So hopefully we might get a slightly higher turnout than usual, but it's always very hard to tell. I don't think there's been any major kind of changes in how we've done things this year. Maybe Tom will kill me for saying that, because he might say that actually there's been quite a lot, but I haven't necessarily been directly involved in that work. Hopefully we'll see an increase in the turnout.
What was the turnout last year? Can you remember?
Why are you testing me now? I think it was just short. It was about 30%.
Was it?
About 30%. Yeah.
It's tiny. We'll see. Well, thank you for joining us, Ben.
Thank you very much for having me.
We'll keep you up to date with all the January exams turnout in the next couple of weeks. Next, we are going to be joined by Dr. Sandra Sunram Lee and Kasima Willie from Athena Swan. Before they join us, here is a video that explains the voting system employed by Lucy.
Hello, I'm here to guide you through the single transferable voting system that we use during LUSU elections. We use preferential voting, so you just need to vote in the order of your favourite candidates. And remember, if you're not happy with any candidates, you can vote for Ron to reopen nominations and run the election again. In this election, Inky is my favourite candidate, so I'll vote them number 1. Then Pinky number 2, Ron number 3, and then, sorry Blinky, but you're number 4. It's as simple as that. Now let's see how we find a winner. A winner is found if they have over 50% of the votes. In the first round of voting, we received 2,870 votes, so the quota is calculated at 1,436. We can see that no candidates have reached this, so Ron, having the least amount of votes, gets eliminated. If Ron was your first choice, your second choices are now counted. These votes are distributed to the remaining candidates. The votes and quota are recalculated moving into the second round. Again, with no candidates reaching the quota. Pinky is eliminated due to having the least amount of votes. We now do the same with Pinky's votes and distribute your votes to the next available preference to the remaining candidates. Moving into the final round, the votes and quota are recalculated. We can see that although Blinky was leading from the start, a greater number of voters preferred Inky. Inky, being the preferred candidate for the majority of voters, reaches 1,430 votes, meaning they have met the quota and is elected. So there you have it. Hopefully now you know a bit more about the STV voting system we use at LUSU. For more information, you can always head over to lusu.co.uk/elections and visit our Facebook and Twitter pages.
That video really helped clarify how the elections work, because
really good
I was
video.
quite confused about it initially.
It just shows you how it all tops up, and the person that wasn't leading at the start can completely win at the end.
It just shows you how important it is to make sure that you rank the people you want, or if you really genuinely don't want to vote for anyone else, only voting for one person, because the ranking can make such a difference.
Yeah, really helpful. Hope that helps.
Unfortunately, we can't show you this year's host, but we can show you a little clip from Will Headley's last year's host, though. Yes.
Hi everyone, thanks for having us. So I get to close the show apparently. So first of all, I guess some of you may have heard, but yesterday Furness 1 Patriots. I know Polly hasn't really let go of the cup. She's even got it with her just now as well. You shouldn't have looked. You all looked. Shouldn't have looked. So who am I? I was a former Furness president. I work in the college bars and I'm on the rugby league exec, and this has given me a privileged position of being able to see and interact with Lucy from all sorts of different angles and different views. So what do I stand for? I stand for a more political union, more representative union, and a more effective union. Now, politically, in the last 2 years, we've made great strides. We've engaged in a more robust and more dynamic debate, and I can't remember the words, with university management, as can be seen by the rent fee increases and the tuition fee increases, the occupational, although that wasn't Lucy, was it? So that's been great, but we can always do better. We should always do better. Part of my manifesto is lobbying the university to reinvest its £16 million surplus into vital student services. Take one, for instance, the counselling service. Last year, a new counsellor was hired, but there's still a 3-week waiting list. Now, that's not good enough. University is such a high-stress environment for many people, and to wait 3 weeks to see a mental health professional is not good enough, and it's something that university should really tackle and should really look to make better. Sports facilities. We want to be a top 10 university, but how can we not invest enough in sport when it defines so many students' lives here at university? And the cost of living. We've said it all day, but the cost of living is huge. It's not the first year that people have struggled to survive at university, and it won't be the last. It should be a constant campaign year on year to try and bring the best value we can to students and make their lives easier and less stressful. And on the cost of living, things can be done. It's not just about tackling rents and fee increases. It's about tangible things we can do at home. It's about engaging on a national level with other unions and other universities, sharing our expertise, sharing our experiences, and bringing that to bear on the locality. Things like printing costs, they're far too high. 20.5p for an A4 colour piece of paper in the library. I don't know about you, but I couldn't afford to do half of my readings. I still can't afford to do half of my readings. Stuff like that. Laundry as well. It shouldn't cost £2.10 on campus to do a load of washing. Those of you that lived in town or live in town now, it's a lot cheaper, and that's a good thing. But living on campus in third year, it's so expensive just to wash my clothes. So on a more representative union, we need more consultation. We should always be consulting students, because at the end of the day, they should guide what we do as officers. We can't hope to do a good job if we don't know what students are thinking, what they stand for, what they want us to do as a union. We should really go out and be active. We should go to college bars. We should go to Pendle Live. We should go to Patriots, which we won, by the way. We should go to Live at the Oak. We should go to all of the different services, pub quiz, everything. We should go and do face-to-face consultation with students. It shouldn't just be about putting up a stall in Alex Square every 2 weeks. We should be more active. We should constantly be striving to find out exactly what they want from us. And we can be a more effective union as well. Lucy does a great job. I'm not here to stand and berate Lucy. I've been involved in it for most of my time at university, but we can always do better. Like I've said before, we should always strive to do better. It's something that every human being should do, should always strive to make the world around them a better place. We've just opened up an orchard outside Pendle Bar with Green Lancaster. Yes, last week. That we should be proud of that. We should shout to the rooftops about that. We're providing food for Cafe 21. Why can't we provide food for the rest of campus bars and for County Diner and everything? Why can't we do more? Why can't we tell students about the services we offer? There's a poster in the Bowland Loos, in the gents, that's great, and it tells everyone about what students can do, but half the people I've spoken to and asked them what do they know about Lucy, they have no idea. We can give financial advice, we can give educational advice, we can give living advice, but we need to do it. We need to shout about what we can do as a union. And we could engage nationally with other students' unions, other conferences. We've just had Justin go to the international conference this week, and it was great. He learned a lot, am I right? Exactly. So we can do more. We can engage nationally. We can be a better union. So that's a quick brief of my manifesto, but it's by no means exhaustive, and it's part of the role as being president to be able to adapt to the environment you're in, to be able to adapt what students want from you. So students should lead what we do. They're the reason we're all here, and they should be at the centre of everything that Lucy does.
30 seconds.
So sorry for going on for that long. Thanks for listening. So please vote Head First and vote Will to be your next Lucy president. Thank you.
So Will said that he wanted to reduce printing, and it's done it this year.
Yeah, so he's made some definite changes as president, which we can actually see the result of.
Hopefully the future presidents will do exactly the same. We are now joined by Dr. Sandra Sunramley and Kasima Willie from Athena Swan. Welcome to you both, and thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Exciting. So, start off, what is the Athena Swan, and what are your current campaign goals?
Should I start off? Well, what is Athena Swan? It's part of the Equality Challenging Unit, and it's a kind of the Athena Swan Charter was established as part of this kind of trying to promote equality in higher education. And it started in 2005, and initially it just encompassed science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine. But it's now kind of broadened its remit and looks at all across the sector in higher education. And the idea really is to tackle gender issues, but it's not only about women, it's just gender in general. And a new aspect of the agenda now as well, or the remit, is that we look at students as well, and we look at transgender aspects as well. And it's really about looking at promotion, progression, all sorts of career aspects where we feel that women or gender issues might be an issue in hindering people to kind of reach their full potential.
Yeah, really interested.
So, as an undergraduate, what is your role and why did you feel it was important to get involved?
Well, gender equality has always been a very important subject to me, not just for women, but for all genders. And when this opportunity came up, I was thrilled because the undergraduate population is basically the future, and we need to be aware of these issues. And also by being on the board, I can help with the role models that the students are going to have. And by having more diverse role models, I believe it'll help the undergraduate students.
Because obviously I know you personally, Kasima, so when the opportunity came up for you to have this position, I can remember we were having coffee and you were like, this is really cool, and you were saying why you want to get involved, and you did, and I think you really enjoyed it.
I really have.
How many people are involved as a team, as Athena Swan at Lancaster?
Oh, we have quite a number of people, and I think it's interesting because we have it at all stages of their kind of academic career. So we have undergraduates involved, postgraduates, early career, fixed contracts, you know, kind of academics in the early stages, middle stages, later stages. So we have each department that's involved in the Athena Swan program has got a committee. And then we have the university committee as well, where again representatives of the department are sitting on. We have people from support staff, because support and professional services are now involved in the Athena Swan remit as well. So it's really very broad, and it's a great opportunity to get people with different experience together and try and, you know, come up with a framework that helps us to reach, you know, individual and as an organisation our full potential.
Yeah. Sandra, what's the best part of what you do for you personally?
I think it's very satisfying, because I think that if you get gender issues right, you create a work environment where everybody can thrive. And that's really what we want, you know, and so that's a very, you know, rewarding thing to do. And I think I like the interaction with people who come from different sectors, different stages, and to see what can we do actually to promote and improve our working life at this institution.
You really do integrate everyone from all departments, don't you? Because I know you're from the psychology department and you've got from other faculties.
Yes,
around
absolutely,
campus.
So, and because obviously the remit has broadened now, we have more departments and faculties involved in the Athena Swan initiative, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
And like you said, this is for gender equality. Do you feel like you've got a good balance of males and females involved in the campaign?
We do, yeah, we do. So sometimes people say, you know, is it only women then on the committee? And absolutely not. And I think, you know, again, the important thing about the Charter now is it's about gender equality. It's not just about women. And in different departments, there might be different issues. So for example, if we take psychology, we don't really have a problem with attracting female students. So we really need to look at our marketing and thinking, can we attract more male students, for example? And in other departments, there are other issues. So it's very broad, really.
I definitely agree with that, because I do think there is a lack of education in how gender inequality affects males, because there is a lot of promotion of feminism, but it doesn't really show how feminism can help males as well. So I think this campaign's really great.
And it's really about, you know, getting it right means a better thing for all of us, you know, looking at work-life balance. That's not only something that affects women, that affects men as well. So it's really everybody benefits from that.
There's a few talks people can come along to, aren't there?
Absolutely. We've got talks coming up next week. It's part of the Women's Day, so we have one talk, if I just, so I want to get it right. So we have one lecture which is on Thursday, 11:30 to 12:30 in County South Lecture Theatre, and it's the title of the talk is very exciting. It's Why Science Needs People Who Cry by Dr. Emily Grossman. Everybody is involved. If you go on the website, Athena Swan website, you can book your space there, but you can also just come along if you can't manage the booking.
Yeah.
And then we have another one on the same day, which is the Athena Swan lecture. It's our third Athena Swan lecture, and that's 2:30 to 4 o'clock, and it's given by Professor Karen Holford, and the title of the talk is, just a second here, I've written it down, it's damage identification in engineered structures. So we would love it if as many students as possible come along, because, you know, as Cosima said, this is the future, so we need people to be aware of all the issues. That would be great, yeah.
Well, thank you both very much for coming in today.
Thank you for inviting us.
It's been really good. I'm going to reiterate just what you've said, but the International Women's Day lecture is happening in County South on Thursday the 10th of March from 11:30 till 12:30. And then the Athena Swan lecture is happening in Lecture Theatre 3 in the Management School from 2:30 till 4. And all the details will be on the website and on the Facebook page too. Thank you again, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
That's about all we've got time for on today. Voting for all positions in the LUSU elections is now open and closes on Friday the 4th of March at 4 p.m. Voting cards have been emailed to you, and if you haven't got yours by now, email elections@lusu.co.uk with your library card number.
The details to sign up to tackle Everest with the Amnesty International Society, as well as the Just Giving page for donating to the cause, are on your screen now.
Tomorrow in Alexandra Square there is a day of action for the I Won't Stand For It campaign from 10:30 till 4:30.
Also tomorrow, Trevor has open mic night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Thank you for joining this week, and we'll see you next week for more Good Morning Lancaster.